So she was saying these fucking guests keep asking me these same fucking questions, and I was like, there must be a solution to this.
Three founders walk into a...
I'm Helen Wingrove-Sanders from HFBAC, hiring for and building awesome companies. I'm one founder.
And I'm Emma Campbell from The Coaching Point. I'm the other founder. Together, we're the two.
Together, we're the two. Ha! And every week, one of us invites a founder the other one's never met. I'll tell you this much about today's guest, Emma. He's someone who realised that most human conversations were happening through technology. We know that. You and I talk all the time on WhatsApp and email, but I'd say WhatsApp is probably the biggest
absolutely
platform for us. And so he's built a company around that to get through the human connections and conversations for a particular industry. Today's guest is a fellow Bristolian. Actually, I don't know if he is Bristolian, but he lives in Bristol, as do I, in England. His name is Balve Bains, and he's founder of Purple Square AI. I'm going to go and grab him now.
Cool.
Do you know him?
I don't.
Have you ever met
I think I've seen his name around, but I don't know who he is.
Okay. Good. Let me go and get him. And there he is now. There is Balve. I told you he was coming in. Balve, hello. How are you doing? And where have we walked into today?
So we have just taken a long haul flight. We've just come off the aeroplane. We're in our Uber. We're driving to my room. Okay, so you've walked into your room, and the room is massive. I'm talking, this room is huge. Massive windows on one side of the room, letting in so much natural light. It feels beautiful. Lots of plants, lots of natural feel. To your left, you see a massive fireplace with the wood crackling, that beautiful sound that you hear. Next to the fireplace is a woman reading a book in probably the most comfiest chair you've ever seen. To your right, you see a bar, but not one of the bars that you see in and around town. It's like a prohibition bar, so lots of mahogany, lots of mood lighting, all the alcohol and the bottles on the back. There's a bartender serving drinks. In front of you is a reception, a really cool reception with a logo in the background. So what you stepped into, Emma and Helen, is a hotel lobby.
Okay.
Wow.
Is this a real place?
I've seen it in pictures, Emma, but I've never been there myself, although I would love to. So if anybody's listening wants to send me there, more than happy for you to do that. But I've never been there, but this is in my imagination. So yeah, it's a hotel lobby.
And is there a country, or is this just a made up? I mean, you've seen it in pictures, but have we actually gone somewhere?
I've seen. I travel quite a lot, and which is one of the benefits of the work that I do. So I have seen these places, but the image that I've just described to you is in my imagination. But I've seen little bits and pieces of stuff that I've just described to you, but I've never actually been there.
Now, I know you said we got there on a long haul flight, clearly business class.
Yep. Obviously. Is there any other way to travel?
Oh no, we always turn left, darling. Oh my goodness me. Always turning left. So that's how we got there, to this imaginary place. So thank you for taking us there. What I'd love to know is how we got there. So I've told Emma about basically your company name and the fact that through a lot of human connections and interactions these days of technology, Emma and I are on WhatsApp. You and I connected on WhatsApp this week, although we met in real life properly. That was the first time we met, which doesn't happen that much these days, does it? So take us on a journey, hopefully as colourful a journey in terms of your journey. How did we get here, where we are today then, Balve?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. So I spend 50% of my time as a presenter and as a moderator. So I've been doing that for the last, I don't want to say, maybe 10, 11, maybe even 12 years. But before that, I worked in hospitality. So I was working in bars and I was working in hotels. So that was my career post presenting. So 50% of the time is presenting and moderating, but the other 50% of the time is my company, which I've set up called Purple Square AI. And what we do is we automate all the boring and mundane questions that guests have in properties. So for the last maybe 2 years or so, when I've been presenting and I've been speaking to these senior level C-suite executives, that this thing called AI kept popping up. And I was having a drink back in, must have been December, so Christmas time 2024, and I was having a drink with a friend that I used to work with in hospitality. And I'm not going to paraphrase what she said because the language that she used was very colourful. But what she was saying...
I want to hear the colourful language.
So she was saying, these fucking guests keep asking me these same fucking questions. And I was like, there must be a solution to this. There must be a way. There must be a solution to this. So anyway, I kept thinking about this over the next couple of days. And that's how Purple Square, I think how the best ideas were born. We're in a pub, right? So what we've done is we've combined AI and we've combined hospitality and basically merged them together, which has created Purple Square.
Amazing. And that is a real need. I mean, I am that customer that asks every question under the sun. If we were going to that hotel lobby that you just described, I would be saying, is the air conditioning set at? And, do I need to bring towels? I'd hope not in the place that you just described.
I think your place looks...
That's my butler's name. I've never been anywhere with a butler. I don't know why I said that. Just quickly, Emma, can you see Balve okay, or is it very pixelated?
It is quite pixelated, but it has come up with a thing to say that the real track would be better quality.
Fine, that's fine. Okay. It didn't come up at my end, but that's good. Okay, so we'll cut that bit. 9 minutes. Okay, cool. And have you, in terms of that business, have you started another business before? Have you started and it's fallen over, or is this your first?
Yeah. No. So this is my third business, actually. So the first one I had was born out of COVID. So I'd just been let go from the BBC, Helen, as you might well attest. And I just needed something to keep that presenting sort of itch scratched. So I set up a podcasting and content creation company. That got let go because I got a job in Bristol and I just didn't have the time, so I just got let go from that. So that sort of dissolved. My second company was a Formula One news sort of media outlet. So I'm a huge Formula One fan. I've worked in Formula One as well. So that got let go because being completely raw and honest here, I got sued. So I was using copyrighted pictures, which I know, hands up, I shouldn't have done. But I did have a disclaimer on the website. If it's your pictures and you own it, then I'm happy to put it down. But so that happened, which is, part of the story. But it would have led me to Purple Square. So all of the fails and all of the journeys, the ups and downs has led me to where I am. So grateful for those opportunities, grateful for those experiences. So yeah, Purple Square's the third business that I'm on at the moment.
Just two things on that. So yeah, we massively overlap. Although I'm ever so slightly older than you, Balve, because I was at the BBC in the 90s, but we won't talk about that. And the 2000s, but mainly in the 90s. Yes, we both worked for BBC. I also covered Formula One because I worked for BBC Three Counties. So we covered a lot of Formula One. This is back in the 90s, so don't get too excited.
Yeah.
But lots of Formula One teams were based up near Milton Keynes and around Bedfordshire.
Yeah, Motorsport Alley. Yeah.
Motorsport Alley, exactly right. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So, and what's really cool is the fact that yes, there's ups and downs, but you have, they're blessings for you. I bet they didn't feel like that in the moment. But
I was literally about to say, yeah. At the time, it's horrible. Failing, no one wants to fail. No one wants to admit that I've sort of messed up here. But it's only till you look back and then you connect the dots. You're like, oh, it was a good experience. And now I'm of the opinion where failing is a good thing. I think I learned more in failure than I've ever done in success. So I still try not to fail, but and it's a difficult thing to teach the younger generation as well because social media and all that sort of stuff. So I'm trying to teach my I've got a younger sister and trying to teach her, failing's, it's okay as long as you learn from it, as long as you don't make the same mistake twice. This is a good thing, but it's very difficult to unless you've been through it and build that resilience and build that grit. Is definitely a good thing, in my opinion, anyway.
I completely
I
agree.
wholeheartedly agree. Emma, do you agree? Yeah. I saw you
Yeah.
nodding.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, isn't it, that you kind of like, exactly like you say, you can't learn, you don't learn anything from the successes. I mean, you do, but like the lessons aren't as big. They're not as kind of prominent as they are when you fail. I think,
100%.
and fail is such a tough word, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it's kind of essential because you have to be able to kind of move on somehow. I think I'm actually you mentioned how you got into presenting in the first place. Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. So I was studying. I've always been interested in media, and I've always been interested in that side of how the news, what's happening in the real world, how the media interprets it. So something that's happening other side of the world, we're not there, so we need the media and we need the news to interpret it on our behalf. How does that work? What's the psychology behind that? So I've always been interested in that. So I studied media at university, not really sure if I wanted to be an editor, if I wanted to be a producer, presenter, whatever it might be. But when I was in a seminar, my lecturer said that the politics reporter for BBC Radio Lancashire, so I studied up in Liverpool, and the politics reporter for Radio Lancashire needed someone to show him around campus. And I was like, yeah, I'll show him around. So I showed him around. And he said, I'll have to get you into the studio next week. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I went into the studio and I knew I was meeting the station manager. So this was a little bit cheeky. Or maybe, I don't know, good thoughts from me. I researched him to the nth degree. So I knew where he was, what shows he did, what's his career. And when I saw him, I acted like, oh, you did that show 5 years ago. And you could see him, how did you know that? And usually with the BBC, you have to go through a whole sort of online application, as you know, Helen, as you're nodding. But he said in a few weeks' time, if you want a week's work experience, we can give it to you. I was like, amazing, perfect, brilliant. So I did that work experience, and then I broke for the summer, which I was a bit gutted about because I was really getting into my rhythm. So I broke for the summer, came back in September, messaged my mentor, asking if there's any work, is there any experience, anything I can do. He goes, we haven't, but we've got this competition called New Voices, which every local radio station around the country was doing. So I entered that, ended up winning, and yeah, it's just snowballed from there, Emma. And yeah, it's been a journey, but one I've really enjoyed.
Fantastic. That's it's so interesting, isn't it? I think it's that thing, isn't it? Like that, like you're not lucky because you were in the right place at the right time. You put yourself in that kind of position. It's that thing, you're never lucky. You kind of have to put the preparation in to make that kind of luck come around. So you were in the right place at the right time, did the right things to kind of make those things happen. I think that's a very cool story.
Yeah, and I think that the harder you work, the luckier I get, is what I found. So yeah,
Beautiful.
So true. Yeah, I mean, if you look at all of the, and I'm not going to name them because some of them, I don't necessarily respect on a personal level. But if you look at all the well-known entrepreneurs, all the high flyers, because they earn a lot of money, because that's what we put success against, they will have failed. They will have been tremendously lucky,
100%.
i.e. put themselves in the right rooms.
Yeah.
And sometimes not even second guessed about putting themselves in the same rooms. And as I've got older, I look back on my time at the BBC, first female football commentator ever at the BBC. I wasn't very good at it. I wasn't very good at it. I just happened to be a woman and the BBC needed a woman anyway. But my biggest lesson from that, and this is, about that storytelling that you were saying around why you like being a presenter, the defining moment for me was sitting outside the press box because there was a sports ground, football ground, not rugby, football ground in the UK that I was not allowed to be in because I was the wrong gender.
Wow.
It's only the 1990s, although that feels like a long time ago. And so I was sat next to the sports press box because I needed to plug my phone in. Yes, I took a phone with a physical phone and plugged it in. That's what I used in one of my reports down. Oh, yeah. So I'm like this, waiting for my producer to go 3, 2, 1. Let's go to Helen. The chap next to me was a Watford football supporter who was blind.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in.
Wow.
He's Watford. This is not Watford football. He had travelled, I would say, maybe 3 hours, maybe a lot more to go to this game. And he was blind. And he sat next to me that day. So I took from that moment, I was very lucky to have that experience because I was commentating for one person. That's what they teach you in radio. You have an audience of one. Same today. Podcasts, we have an audience of one. It's probably going to be my dad, to be fair. But
My mum will listen in, don't worry.
Oh, two. Yes. Fantastic. I knew that my words had such power for that blind football fan. That's the power of radio, the power of storytelling.
Yeah.
It made me a better producer, a better director of the language that I was using, although I'm not doing a very good job of it now. But if you take that back round full circle to all the successful entrepreneurs around the world, they have that anchoring point. Don't they? They have that point where they go, this is when I got it. This is why I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where I was
And
going.
that moment's so powerful. But that moment's so powerful, isn't it? Like it's you can look back and go, this is the time. This is the bit where it all started. And it's very humbling, I think, a very humbling experience.
Yeah. And I think that moment, like you say, you don't know.
And I don't think you can prep for that moment. That you've got to.
No, oh my God, yes, yeah.
You've got to be in the right place at the right time. Just kind of make sure that you're showing up and kind of doing what you're supposed to be doing. And, you just don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So, go on, Balve. I want to ask you about the hospitality industry in a minute. But
no, I was just going to say what Emma says. I think consistency is key. You can never lose if you're consistent.
Absolutely.
You can if you keep going through the hard times, through the good times as well. You can never lose. Like there's no way you can lose if you never give up. So I think that was that's a really key point for me.
I think that consistency is really important, but also it's hard, isn't it? Because it's also trying different things, which is kind of inconsistent, but you're still going in the same direction. You're still kind of putting one foot in front of the other, whether you're trying different routes and, how that looks, you just got to kind of, I think we were talking about it just now, like, you've got to be you've just got to be open to what's coming through, take the opportunities as they come up and be really like aware of your situation and the things around you. And, go on, Helen.
I think for me, what you're saying is it's consistent momentum that's in line with the road that you are building as you're building it. I'm on my third recruitment company now, having learned so much about my previous two businesses that looked on the outside very successful, made decent money, employed people. I was inherently unhappy. I mean, just because I didn't know who I was, or I knew what I stood for, but then I didn't know how to consistently drive that momentum, essentially, to get everything across the line that felt right to me. So I think there's components. It's not just consistency. It's consistency with momentum. So Emma, try different things. Do different, is it LinkedIn?
Yes.
Is it Facebook ads? Is it actually networking, old school, get out there, shake people's hands? Or in Balve and my case, we hugged each other. It just...
Within a minute, probably.
In a minute, without a doubt, both initiating. Just, we huggers. Yeah. We're just... so consistency, building that momentum with that consistency, but also having a fair idea of your destination. Doesn't mean the destination can't change. Doesn't mean how you get there doesn't change. Goodness knows in my business now, in HFBAC, I'm definitely changing my destination because I know where I want to be, not where the business wants to be. So it's now a vehicle for me, as opposed to this is what I'm doing for the business and I'm a slave to the business. But then just taking those consistent steps every day, even on the days that you feel a bit rubbish, protect that. Because that's energy telling you.
It's key,
But do you think there's an element of that where having those kind of, you're knowing what your core values are, and I suppose this kind of leads into a question for you, Balve, like, knowing what your core values are, because you don't always know them, when you're kind of coming up through the world, you don't necessarily know what you stand for. You don't know what those things are. You kind of have a sense of it, but you can't necessarily verbalize it. Like if you stay true to those things, that consistency also kind of helps. So I guess, Balve, what would you say that are the values that you kind of hold, that you have brought through, that kind of stand now as they were then, and what has changed?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think for me, I've not had a linear career path.
Yeah.
So I studied one subject at university and then I had a career in that one subject. And I used to think that was a negative thing. But now I think of it as a positive thing because I've got all these experiences of little dips. I always say that I'm not I'm not very intelligent. I just know a little bit about everything. So I know a little bit about that. I know enough to have a conversation about this. So, and that's come from trying different things and trying different sort of experiences, as it were. But in terms of values, I think honesty is definitely key to me. Communication, obviously being presenter. That's, I think, 100%. I need to have communication there. I think those are the values that sort of drive me, I believe. And I'm very good, and I notice this very on, I'm very good with people, and I'm very good at talking to people. And I used to struggle with how I talk to you two is different how I talk to my mum. It's different how I talk to the boys on a night out. It's different is how I talk to a boss. And I always struggled with who I am. I thought I was different with all these type of people. But then I realized the core of me, the core of Balve, is always the same. It's just the words I'm using, the mannerisms, the expressions are just slightly different. So absolutely, that's always been key with that. And I think that's Helen. I think Helen, you're very much like that. I think that's why we clicked almost instantly in that sense when we met in Bristol. So I think that's definitely key, and adventurous as well. I love trying new things, and I love even going to the restaurant. I don't like going to the same restaurant twice. And living in Bristol, we're blessed. We're so lucky to have so many. The food scene here is incredible. So we're very lucky to have that on our doorstep. And I love trying new things. It's just one of my favorite things to do, just doing new things and trying new things and experiences. And that links back into when I'm talking to people. I met a wildlife photographer yesterday, which I've never met before, but I knew enough about it to have a conversation. So obviously work with the BBC and the natural history departments here in Bristol as well. So it was very interesting. I think they're the values I think I hold, I think dearest to me and closest to my heart.
I think it is something that as we mature, and I don't mean age, I just mean we get to know ourselves a bit better. We know who we are and what we stand for. It's that, your point to the values, Emma, is, and then how we portray that to other people. I would hope that you speak differently to us than you do with your mum. Do you know what I mean? Know your mum a lot longer. And I'm sure she's lovely. And with the boys as well. I don't want that version of you. I want this version of you. I'm sure your mum would probably say the same.
I hope so.
Definitely. And the interesting thing as well is that you said your values are honesty or honest, communication, and adventurous. And that ties in nicely with actually your business, your current business and what you're doing. So I spoke with a founder this week, actually this really nice guy. You guys would love him. Really, he's a hugger. He's definitely a hugger. Really good guy.
Fan of him already. I love him already.
You love him already. Well, you should. And he struggles in terms of the whole imposter syndrome, but he's like, I can't do this because this market's already overcrowded. I can't do this because this market's already overcrowded. I'd imagine your market servicing hospitality businesses where people are going to be afraid that you're going in with AI to try and replace their jobs. I'm pretty sure that's not the aim of your honest communication and adventurous bit and the values that you bring to it.
Yeah, no, it is. And in terms of competition, I used to play semi-professional sport, so I've always been sporty. My dad's a physio, so I've always had sport. I remember one of my coaches and managers saying, don't focus on what your opposition's doing, don't focus on the other team. Focus on what you're doing, focus on how you can improve, focus on, that split-second decision on a pitch where, you have to, are you going to pass the ball? Are you going to dribble it? Whatever you're going to do, focus on that, focus on you. And I've definitely taken that into business. And I think sport is a great vehicle for stuff like that, for leadership, for teamwork, for, ownership, responsibility, all that sort of stuff. So I'm a massive advocate of sport. And in terms of our company, I've never really looked at the competition. It's always us. It's always Purple Square. It's always, what we're doing. And we have had stuff where you said where I've been on discovery calls with hotel owners and GMs and, Airbnb hosts where one of the first things they said is, you're just trying to take our jobs. And, you're trying to, get away from the human touch. And I'm, no, we're not at all. We pride ourselves, and one of our taglines is we're a non-human human company. So we're all about the people. We're all about, giving staff the time to actually produce those wow moments, that keep you coming back to hotels. So we're just a tool. We're like a website or a calculator or a phone. We're here to save your staff time so they can produce those wow moments that keep your guests coming back. So maybe 8 or 9 times out of 10, that's the first thing, is we're trying to take your jobs. But I assure you, we're not building robots. We haven't got a factory, iRobot, Star, the Starlink, wherever it is in Terminator. We're not building that. Maybe tomorrow. That's a joke, by the way. We're not trying to do that at all. So luckily the clients that we have get that and trust us, which is trust is such a massive thing in hospitality. It takes years to build up but seconds to break. So our clients trust us. Our clients make sure we're doing the right thing. And it's been a journey. It's been a tough one, but we're really, really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the challenges and, just focusing on us and just building this sort of small company that we've got here in Bristol.
What does 2026 look like for, I'm not going to say your company, I want to talk about the hospitality industry. What does it look like for them, do you think? Clearly, AI is going to be all over it. There'll be lots of people, but we don't care about the competition because, like your dad said, focus on you. And actually, I want to come back to that in a minute because I think focusing on you sometimes is deemed to be negative in the UK. I think it's let's put a pin in that and come back to it. But what do you think 2026 looks like for the hospitality industry?
It's a good question. I think although AI is everywhere, I think we're still in the infancy. I still think we're at the beginning of the road of it. And I think education is going to be so key in terms of implementation, in terms of getting tech into property. So I think that will start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think the properties themselves, I think the experience is going to be a lot key, a lot more of a focus towards, especially the luxury and the high end of properties. We're hearing sort of like Moxie, where is the lower end of the properties of the sort of hotel scale. There is just a copy and paste, so all the rooms look the same, and that's great if you're at that end. But if you're looking sort of for the luxury and sort of high end sort of properties, I think the experience and how you feel and emotion is playing a key part in that. So I think the hospitality industry is growing and it's getting better, and we're in a great place. We're in such a good place at the moment, and I can only see it growing and getting better. But in terms of technology, I think education is definitely key in terms of what it can do and what it can't do as we're speaking right now.
And that's interesting what you're saying about that kind of hospitality piece. So I've done quite a lot of work in hospitality and hotels, and and I was going to say about the Moxie, like I actually think that those kind of lower end, that kind of end of the thing is my connection really dodgy. Sorry, I'm just gonna pause. Can you?
We can hear you. It's fine.
Perfect. 31.
Yeah, so that kind of lower end of things, I almost think that they're the ones that really need to invest in that kind of experience, because that's what's going to set them apart from the Premier Inns and the Ibises and the that kind of level of things. That we know that within business that relationship piece is becoming more and more prevalent. That accountants aren't just about doing your books anymore. It's about having your relationship with your accountant and, help them kind of partnering with you to kind of move your company forward. And I think that's the same across the board. I think we're all looking for a bit of connection, a bit of relationship, a bit of something that sparks and kind of takes you somewhere else. I think that's the only way that these places are going to differentiate themselves, certainly at the low end. The higher ends can do it through all your indulgences and the nice bits and pieces, but that kind of connection piece has to come in order to take people on the journey, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think the wellness aspect of hotels as well. So your spas and your massages and all that sort of, I'm seeing that. I don't know if that's a trend that will continue, but I'm seeing a lot of the wellness space getting a lot bigger. A lot of hotels are sort of dedicating almost entire floors, if not half a floor, to the wellness aspect of the experience. I think health and fitness is just exploding right now, $1 trillion industry globally. So, and I think hotels are tapping into that, and they're noticing, people are coming to stay with us for our spa facilities, for our, swimming pools, for our, saunas, steam rooms, wherever it might be. So I think the wellness aspect is, as you alluded there, Emma, is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which is great.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that comes back to the wellness, I think, has come out of COVID, where people realised actually we need to look after ourselves. But that's kind of poo-pooed, isn't it? It's like, what do you mean I think an older generation, I'm thinking of my parents here, Dad, sorry about this if you're listening, but it's kind of like, well, you need to get up and get on with it. Whereas in actual fact, our generation is more like, well, I also need to look after myself. So I'm not going to think twice about, instead of going to a Moxie, which I have to say, I think they've got, if there's a choice of a Moxie, what were the other ones? Premier Inn, or Travelodge, and also the Premier Inn hubs. If I want to go to a hotel in London, let's say I'm seeing clients and I'm going to stay overnight, and I want to go back and just go to a bar. I know that the Moxie bar is going to be a lively bar. There might be a quiz night that night. There's no reception area. Yeah. It's a bar. That speaks to a certain type of Helen on a certain night. Other nights, I just want to go and sleep in a really comfortable bed with a lovely wool duvet. Well, is that the Premier Inn hub? Those kinds of hotels. But then coming back round to looking after ourselves, isn't that all we ever want to do? And yet as a society, it's almost seen as a weakness at times. But I think if you're on the founder journey, you can burn out so quickly. And I know that's an overplayed thing about burnout, but you burn out so quickly because you eat, sleep, breathe your company, your startup, your idea. Yeah. Everything's on you. And I would just want to encourage everyone to take some time.
Yeah, I would wholly, I'll back you on that, Helen. This might sound controversial, but my number one priority is my health. And I'll tell you why. I can't be a good son if I don't have my health. Yeah. I can't be a good founder if I don't have my health. I can't be a good uncle if I don't have my health. I can't be a good boyfriend if I don't have my health. So all these things, health is the foundation of everything. And I'm learning this very, very late. So if anyone's listening a bit younger, make health your priority. And I'm not just talking about physical, I'm talking about emotional, I'm talking about mental, I'm talking spiritual, I'm talking, all these things that come into you as a person. So I work out every day, whether that's a half an hour walk, whether that's, a full session in the gym, whatever it might be, I make sure priority number one is I move my body, and I move my body and move, and read as well, the emotional part as well, stimulate the brain and all that sort of stuff. So I protect that time fiercely in terms of, looking after myself, because I can't be those things if I don't have my health. So that's number one priority for me. And then everything else just flows into place.
Yeah. Do you know what's really sad though, Balve? The fact that you had to preface that with saying, I know this might be controversial.
I know. It's 2026, Helen. I can't believe I had to say it, because most people don't. I've seen people just burn out, and you can see why it's happened. You can smell it a mile off. Yeah. That you're in 6 months you're going to burn out if you carry on.
Yes. So burnout doesn't happen overnight. No, burnout is a series. It's momentum, but taking you in the wrong way. Whether that is your physical energy, whether it is your mental energy, spiritual energy, all of that, all of those data points need to come together and basically break you. I might be speaking from experience there a little bit.
I'm definitely speaking from experience. I've been very, very close to that. And it's not only, again, looking back, connecting the dots, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have worked, 17, 18 hours in one day for a week straight. But you don't notice it because you're in that bubble.
Yeah.
Well, you do know.
I was by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you do know, and you do it anyway because you have to get through this piece. And I think that's the other bit, that kind of pressure that's on a founder. You have to do it, and you have, that's like your training wheels, isn't it? And you've got to go through the really tough bits to get to the good bit at the other end.
Yeah.
And that's, that's okay to a point, but you can't be doing that consistent, that can't be your consistency. That can't be the thing that you're consistent at, because it will flatten you. You're kind of, your physicality can't cope with that. And I suppose when you often founders fall into being a founder, I think you've kind of said the same thing, I don't know if you ever really... Did you ever think that you were going to run your own business, Val?
Oh, God, no. No, growing up in Bedford, you either went to university or you did a trade.
Yeah.
Those were the only two sort of career paths that I had as a kid, and I obviously went through the university part. But no one. And I think this is another conversation for another day. But I don't think schools are teaching that. You learn about Pythagoras' theorem, which obviously I use every day. They don't teach you about taxes or how to, change a tire on a car or running a business, all this sort of stuff, life skills. They don't teach that in school, which is a shame, which is a massive, massive shame.
I think they don't.
No,
they
to
don't
answer your
teach.
question, never.
They don't teach you those things, but they also don't teach the emotional piece as well. They don't teach you the regular. They it's becoming more of a thing that the emotional regulation. They don't teach you about communication. They don't teach you about kind of how you talk to people who are slightly different to you. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so much that school kind of is missing at the moment. That and again, it could be a conversation for another time. We've got a whole load of conversation about it.
Now, let's talk about the education system, because it isn't just here in the UK. I think schools the world over are there to get most people through and doing fine.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Based on what metric, I don't know. But having been married to a secondary school teacher, I hear it and I feel it from him when he comes in. His best days are when he's got through to that kid who's just been really disengaged, who's been written off by other teachers, they're constantly getting in trouble, and then he has a light bulb moment with that kid. Either they say, right, I get it now, or they apologise for poor behaviour. And then the next time they come to the lesson, they sit there in quiet and actually do the work.
Yeah.
It's those bits and pieces. So this isn't a conversation for another day. I do think it's actually on people that are running their own businesses to help schools, educators, parents, open the eyes of curious young people who actually don't want to go to university. They don't want to go and get an apprenticeship. They actually don't know where they fit. I mean, hands up here, who knew what they wanted to do at the age of 18 when you went to university?
Not a clue.
Who's doing now?
Not a clue.
They would be doing at the age of 18? No. So, from
100% no. 100% no.
I think from an education point of view, an entrepreneurial education is we learn as we go, we make it up as we go. Sorry if that's a secret that no one's ever said, but we make it up as we go. We have that constant churn, don't we, of okay, I have to do this, I need to do this, I have to do this. Because, and this is one thing that I work with founders when I'm hiring perhaps their first, second, third employee. And they attract different types of human beings for those kinds of businesses. These are not people that will happily go and sit in a weird, open plan office and show up for 50% of the day. And by show up, I mean mentally show up. They're sat in the seat, they've shown up, but 50% are there. Those second, third, fourth, fifth employees, I have to coach them through their first few months, first 90 days. And look, just remember not to do the 16, 17, 18-hour days, because at day 90, you're going to be useless. Yeah. And also the founder's already got that one down. I'm already trying to talk them off a ledge of doing that many hours. So there's that education piece. But the key thing is that drives our businesses in the UK and in the US as well, in these people-made, what was the phrase you used? A non-human company.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Is filling them with curious minds. That curiosity is kicked out of us in genius.
Yeah. 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 And if you think about the classroom now, it's all in rows, like a factory.
Yes.
And that was, 50, 60, 70 years ago? And we're still doing the same thing.
I remember then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you do differently?
Yeah, it is.
What would you do differently?
I would have, if it was up to me and I was education secretary, I would have a much more emphasis on sport. I would have a much more emphasis on entrepreneurship and life skills as well. I think that's super, super important. I remember having my first job I was like 15 or 16, I think. And I got my pay slip and I was like, why is some of my money gone to someone called Nat Insurance? Who are they? Why are they taking my money? Didn't know. So it would have been nice to know that beforehand. because I bought a pair of trainers that I definitely couldn't afford. So that would have been nice. So I think sport, just because of the reasons I mentioned earlier, teamwork, leadership, showing up for one another, accountability, hard work, all those things that sport, sort of brings out of you. It is important. And I think I'd do that. Life skills, entrepreneurship and sport would be, I think, key factors, and maybe a little bit of Pythagoras theorem here and there.
My first degree was in maths. I say first degree. My first year, I failed. I flunked.
Okay, cool.
And the only thing I remember from that degree was 1 = 0.
Okay.
Exactly. Not worry about that, but that's what I remember. That's useful for when you're trying to get a mortgage, isn't it?
Yeah.
The thing you would add, so sport, entrepreneurship. What was the third one?
Life skills.
Life skills. Can I add something else to sport? Because not everyone is blessed.
Yes.
Yes. No, I was caveat. Yes. Yeah. I was going to caveat. Yes.
I would include like debate school. I would include
music,
some sort of music with that.
Music.
All of those kind of creative, like pure creativity. Not here's Monet. Let's all do a Monet, because you can't, right? But if you're interested in buildings, do photography. If you're interested in, what was it they called it when I was at school? CDT, craft and design technology. Loved it. I was the only girl in my class. Loved it.
Oh yeah, woodwork. I used to love that. That was fun.
No, not wood. So I did do woodwork, but my CDT. It was basically like architectural drawings and stuff. But I wasn't very good at it.
Okay.
I wasn't. Whereas if I'd been able to go out with a camera and actually photograph real stuff, because I can't remember, I don't have one of those minds that remembers it, but photograph it and then go back and have something to work from. Don't forget, we didn't have the internet then, folks. So I couldn't just look at a picture and draw it. But so I would have sport for sure, but also have other types of sports too. So not just your traditional sports. Dodgeball is a great one for winning and losing, because there's a bit of pain involved.
Yeah, I think because I've just had, ever since I was, day one, I've had sport around me. So I think that's why my mind just goes immediately to sport. And in terms of music, I'm a good tambourine triangle player. But that's as far. Level 10, Helen. I'm so good at it. That's
Someone has to be.
good at it.
There's nothing wrong with the tambourine. Keeps everybody in time. It's great.
Or not. Or not.
Yeah.
I have a slightly different take on education, because my kids were world schooled. So we traveled around an awful lot. So they weren't in school for a lot of that time. So a lot of what we did was very much kind of going to places and finding stuff out as we went. So we spent some time in Hawaii. So we were kind of doing loads of stuff on geography. We spent some time in Thailand and Vietnam and kind of learnt about the Vietnam War. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, and it was much, obviously we were in a very privileged position to be able to do that. But that piece where we kind of force people down a particular path, and I would say that even the way that we were doing it wasn't ideal at all. It was just different. But that way of kind of forcing kids down a very specific path becomes very difficult. Like my son is quite badly dyslexic and really struggled to learn to read. So like he ended up kind of with the best will in the world, kind of trying to get him to sit down and read was painful and it was just a really difficult thing to do. And in the end, we actually just had to kind of take our hands off and say, hope that it would come around in the right time. And it did. Computer games, Minecraft was amazing. He wanted to kind of learn to do things. So there's so many things out there that are different ways of learning. Minecraft was really good for us. Like, it really, really helped. And then you look at kind of the Finnish education system and how they do things and how they kind of take things on project by project basis. They don't give you homework. Your lessons are much shorter. They're not pushed down. This is maths, and you will enjoy maths or you will hate maths. But this is the thing. It wasn't like if you go cook something, you want to cook something, you've got a recipe for 4 people, but you want to make it to 8 people. How do you do that? That is maths, but it's it's a much more kind of accessible way to do it, because you're thinking about it in a different way. Not everybody imagines things the same way. Not everybody likes the same thing. So to be much more broad brush about it rather than kind of very specific, I think is a really interesting way forward.
Yeah, and if if you're putting everyone in boxes, as it were, it's
Yes.
not gonna work. It's like if you judge a fish, if it can climb a tree, it's gonna
Yes.
think it's stupid.
Exactly.
Well, it's not stupid. It's just in the wrong environment.
Yeah.
So I think there's loads of different ways you can learn, and I love the Finnish way. I've been reading up a little bit about that, so it's funny you mentioned that, Emma. So it's really interesting how, like, Scandinavia as a whole, their education system is just second to none. It's absolutely brilliant. So definitely a good point.
I mean, kind of pressure on exams. That's the thing that I have a big thing about. Like, exams should be pushed much older. 16 it sats at like 11 and 12. There's so much pressure on kids. It's really tough. You know, telling a 15-year-old boy that his life is over if he doesn't do well in his GCSEs. I mean, that is a huge amount of pressure. It's not true, and it's not fair. And, you know, if you were doing entrepreneurial things, you know, that it doesn't, that kind of achievement, that kind of box ticking isn't going to be the thing that shapes you. It can help and it can push you and put you on a path, but it's not necessarily the thing you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Like, please don't stress about it.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Well, I was going to say we have a tradition. It's only the second episode. So I hereby declare it now a tradition. How many times do you need to do it for it to be a tradition? It is a tradition now. Ask our guest for their C word. And you did mention a C word earlier. So you've mentioned a couple, actually. Here today, now, what C word would you use in order to leave us with?
Yeah, I need to, before I say my word, I need to have a little word with you two, actually, because you said a C word, right? Do you know how many C words are out there? It's so difficult to pick one. So, I'm not happy about it, okay? Just to let you know, there's so many C words out there. And the one I wanted to use, I couldn't use because the person before me, as a guest, had already taken it. So that was another pressure on me. So that's the first thing. I wanted to have just want to say that out loud, you know, speak my truth and say, I'm not happy with the both of you. But,
sorry, not sorry.
So as I mentioned earlier, traveling is one of my biggest passions. If traveling was free, you would never see me again. I would be all around the world, globally, just hopping on planes, you know, living in hotels, living in Airbnbs, hostels, wherever it might be. But my favorite type of place to go is the beach. So I love being near water. I love the sound of water, waves crashing, you know, mojito in hand, in a hammock. I love all that stuff. So the C word I'm going to use is coastal. So that is why. So I'm going to leave you with coastal. Coastal is my word. After much deliberation last night, looking at every C word in the dictionary. Thanks, you two. So I'm going to have to go with coastal.
And next time I see you, we'll have food here in Bristol because we are blessed with some amazing places. And I need to know the rest of the C words privately. Who we're going to use. But coastal is a great word. So we've now had courage and coastal, both of which are remarkable words. And I love the fact you were going to use courage as well, because it takes a lot of courage for you to meander through what you have done and land where you are. And I'm intrigued what 2026 shows up for you. But I'm intrigued, not surprised when you come out with whatever success looks like for you.
Yeah, it's we're sort of building the car as we're driving it, as it were. So it's brilliant. It's exciting. The clients we've got are amazing. They're great to partner with. The plan is to go out and visit some of them. Like I said, we're a non-human human company, so I don't want to talk to our clients behind a screen. I want to see them, I want to shake their hands, view their properties, you know, stay at their properties as well. So yeah, super excited, bit scary, bit nervous, but I've learned that's a good thing. That means you should lean into it. So yeah, thank you so much for having me as well.
Three Founders Walk Into A, the podcast where you never know where you'll end up.
Very different. So different. But similar themes, if you were to lay them both side by side, I mean, failure comes up a lot.
What success looks like.
Their lessons. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I hope I didn't pinpoint too much when he said, I know this is going to be controversial, but health. And I kind of had to say, well, the fact that you said that was controversial. But anyway.
I didn't think that's
that was Balve. What did you think? What did you learn most?
Oh God, what do I know? I always find these difficult questions difficult, and they what did I learn the most? I'm not quite like, I think just that kind of adventure, and it is, over and over again, because it's something that comes up in my life all the time. You have to have that like, I was desperate for him to say curiosity. Like, you have to have that kind of curiosity to be looking in different directions, and who people are and how you're reacting to them. I think that was really interesting. That he's really aware that he behaves differently with different people.
Yeah.
But that your core values remain, that, those bits stay the same. That doesn't change. I think that was really kind of a lovely thing.
I think what I take from Balve's conversation is he said consistent a few times. I thought that's sure to be his C word. Yeah. He also says curiosity, and we did as well. I thought that's sure to be his word. But like you say, one of his values is adventurous. The fact that he used the word coastal to describe, that's his C word for the day.
Yeah.
That shows the adventurous side of him. And I kind of I need to have a word with myself sometimes and not self-edit. If you'd said to me, what's your C word? I'd have used consistent, or, if I had £10 to place, it would have been curiosity or consistency. But actually be more adventurous, A. B, coast, yes, big tick.
Think out
I love the coast.
Yeah,
exactly. And actually, doesn't that show his entrepreneurial brain?
Yeah,
that he didn't go with one of the other words that he clearly was memorizing from the dictionary overnight. I spoke with him yesterday. But yeah, I think he's a really good example of someone who knows who he is through having experienced lots of different things. And I also, do you know what I really loved? And this is just me, because I know you have a son. I have a son as well. The fact that he said, I want to show up for my mum. I need to be healthy. I want to be a healthy son.
Yes.
He said son first.
Yeah.
I love you even more now, Balve. He's gone up in my estimation even more, if that's possible, because he said son first.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that's interesting, isn't it? Because when somebody's like really, that health thing and being around for other people, because it's not necessarily something but I would think of first, like, I'm healthy so that I can do stuff, so that I can get out there, but that you can be of service to others through your health. It's a really beautiful thing. It was lovely.
Yeah, good guy. He's based in Bristol, Purple Square AI, which, he's only been running that business for just over a year, but came from a conversation in a pub. So who knows where life is ever going to take you? Go to the pub more often. Who knows who you're going to meet?
Absolutely.
Who knows what ideas can come up in a pub? And also, can I just credit him with being a tremendous storyteller in terms of 3 founders walk into a Balve, where are you taking us? And he kind of woven this beautiful story. And that wasn't scripted. He was not. I checked. He was not looking down. The fact that you went there, right? When he was describing it, your brain, my brain was going picturing it. It was really lovely and warm. There was clearly a lovely cocktail waiting for us. I mean, amazing. Maybe we need to have a mastermind at whatever hotel that is that he was envisioning. Can't say the word.
I liked the comfortable chair with the beautiful woman. And we didn't go down who the beautiful woman was.
But I want to know her, or I want to chuck her out of the beautiful chair, and I want to sit.
Yeah, I want the comfortable chair.
Yeah, get out of it. Yeah, beautiful storyteller, great energy, but love the fact that it wasn't false energy. He didn't just come and be a presenter for us, because he could have been.
That's true.
He could have just presented life a little bit like social media. Everything's lovely and hunky-dory. Isn't everything fantastic for me because everything looks great? But actually, he wasn't afraid of, scratching beneath the surface and saying about his failures, which must have been really, really horrible at the time. But then he realized they were lessons, really. So, great guy. Really nice. And I've only met him one time before.
Magic.
So for him to trust us in this form is really cool as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Cool.
Really good. So is your guest next week?
It is my guest next week.
Do I know them?
I don't think so.
Okay.
To be honest, I haven't done any digging. I should probably go through your LinkedIn people and see if that person is on the... I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter. Shall I tell you why? I've got nearly 10,000 connections.
Oh, God. So you probably are connected with them, but whether you know them or not is completely beyond the...
Absolutely.
3 Founders Walk Into Her. New episodes every Friday.